press go live.
That's a good idea.
Wow, it's amazing what happens when you actually press go live.
And here we are.
And here it says we're live versus before okay.
Imagine that. I wonder how many people actually know alive. Have you ever talked about that?
No, I just let people just figure it out.
Here it is, dude.
Look, it's either some people are like, ooh, he's good, or it's like, oh, good.
I feel it.
But I liked it. I don't know. When I thought about it, I was like, alive with joy, alive. I think I got something here.
It's a good name, man. I'm glad to be here with you, and I'm excited to talk about some things, whatever we're gonna get into, just shoot some shit, you know.
Well, last time we got some deep stuff. I mean,
we're round 2. That's right.
This is going to be a good one. Very
good.
I'm excited. All right, Nick Zei. This is episode 22 now. Just so
22.
It's one of my favorite numbers. My daughter's, born on the 22nd too. So 22, 11. So 2, 2, and 11. Some big numbers there.
There it is, folks.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thanks, man.
So Nick, for all my viewers who don't know, I'm sure there's not anybody who doesn't know who Nick Zei is by now. But
no, I'm not that popular.
Well, man, you blew up though. Let's be honest.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For sure.
Well, let me give you a little introduction then. I'm Nick Zei, and I actually, here's the thing though, is I'm more sketches / sketch / podcast / I'm not really teaching as much through direct teaching as I used to. So a lot of people might know me like that, as that teacher kind of archetype. But I've recently decided I wasn't enjoying making videos in the way that I was, and I tried a bunch of different ways and styles, and I do it this way or that way, and I really just feel at home when I'm in skits and sketches, as well as writing, because I author as well with my book, and so writing, sketch, and then conversation, man. I just absolutely love these 3 different ways of expressing, so I'm just kind of running with that. Now I'm sure I might do some more videos like that, but I just like taking it less serious and just doing whatever the fuck you want, mate.
Oh, that's pretty good. I can't do that one. That's just straight up Conor McGregor. I can't do that one. It's pretty good. If I try to do an impression on the spot, I end up butchering it complete. It's Irish ends up being Scottish, and then I'm in Australia 10 seconds later. So I mean, they're not bad. They're just not great. That's all. Nick Zei, everybody. Dude, thanks for coming on again. You are only my second returning guest so far.
Glad to be here, man. I loved it the first time. That's why I'm back. If it sucked, I wouldn't have been back. So we're back.
It did not suck. It did not suck for anybody. It was a lot of fun. We went super deep. You had a lot of the time. I'm like, I'm just going to let him roll with this because I got no clue. But I learned a lot, and a lot of people learned a lot. So I knew you had to get you back on, and this probably won't be your last time either. So, yeah, dude.
Cool.
Thanks,
I'm excited, man.
So, everybody, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Make sure if you don't follow me here on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. That's what it is. And smash the like button on this live. So, I want to talk about the little bit of shift in your content because I don't know if it has to do with this eclipse season or what's going on, but I'm in this identity crisis mode. We were talking a little bit about it. Things are shifting for me, and I don't feel the same fire that I had in my gut and my soul when I first started creating content on TikTok and social media, and things are shifting. And then here we are, you're talking about, reintroducing that creative actor or that, that part of you back into your work. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I felt like this is actually where I started. My partner has always been telling me for years, you're not like, this isn't fully you. And I was always like, what do you mean by that? She's like, you're way funnier in person. And I'm like, what do you mean? Because that was the first thing she met me. Because I met her on my podcast a couple years back. And then she met me in person. She's like, you're way funnier than I would have thought. And I was like, okay, like that's one of the first things she said to me. And that was a couple years back now. And I could never find a way to really include myself. And I had little parts of, like I did a skit and I did a sketch, but it wasn't, I felt like people wouldn't take me seriously if I related in a certain way. I think that's really what it was. I came to that conclusion last week. It was like, I wanted to be taken seriously because I felt like I could really help the world if I just told people what I knew, and it was mind blowing. If they just got it, then we would all get it, and we would all just figure it out, and we would live in a world that was more harmonious. I mean, you just don't know if that's true. And I actually started realizing that it was only really true to me, because now I'm finding that the more I'm able to just bring more aspects of self and persona, kind of letting go of that teacher as much, and also including these other parts of me that, I've always been kind of like not chill in the sense of like I'm just chilling, not doing anything, but like I always found the irony in life, like we have no idea what's going on, and just kind of putting that into my life. I wanted to put that into the content because I always felt like if you watch my content, you probably know. Plenty of videos where I'm like, just boom, 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 just saying these things. And it's just like, after a couple of years of doing that, just like you, it's like, that's not all of me. And I think whenever people have crises of identity, I'm finding that has a lot to do with, you feel like there's a part of you that is not included. You're not able to fully be. It's weird when you say you, because it's like, what is you? If I'm like, be yourself, what does that even mean? But it's actually more like, that there's this part of you that you want to express, but you're not for some reason, whether it's an insecurity, whether it's you don't think people are going to like you. That was a lot of stuff for me when it came to being all around. And so, that's kind of what I've started to realize, is the more you feel like about life, a lot of times it's because you're not saying how you feel, because there's a level of fulfillment if you just actually say how you feel to anyone or to in any situation. And so if you find a way to do that, and I've kind of seemed to have found it more recently, it's liberating in itself,
Yeah, no, it hits so hard, because that's the theme for me. I've been talking about it in my lives a little bit, and even in the last live with Joey with my buddy Dan, is there's just this part, we get almost stuck in a lane. Not everyone, maybe some people are better at it than I am to be more authentic, but that authenticity is changing. But you get stuck in a lane. Maybe it's because you go viral. You grow a community, like I've been fortunate to grow this amazing community, and it's like you start to get, okay, this is why they like you.
Yeah, you think that people like you because of this only one reason, which isn't true.
Right. But then if you go back into old wounding to a child, like, I mean, this could have been, for me, there's some deep rooted shit here, but not all of it. And some of it is just, wow, you get kind of hooked to the being accepted, loved, wanted, whatever that is. And then, like I said, you think it's this, but it's so much more than that. It's so much more than that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of people are starting to realize.
Yeah.
You think people are going to like you for this because at some time in your life you thought that it would be more beneficial for you to be this way. And you might have got that way and got confirmation that worked. And you're like, well, path of least resistance, it's working. And what's really hard is to actually say how you feel, especially in today's climate, the world that we live in. But it's really interesting because, of course, you want to play chess when you're in the online space, but also there's a lot about the way that you show up having to do with why people like you, and not even being about what you're saying, but also how you're relaying it. But then when we finally get to the root of that, it's like, okay, people like you for you, maybe. They might.
Yeah,
but have you ever been yourself?
Yeah, no kidding.
That's the question. And I haven't. I'll be honest, in 2 years, I haven't been myself to the point where all the aspects, including this part of me, has been available. And I have on my podcast more and more, and that really helped me as well, just to continually have conversations and realize it was actually okay to be me. That's why I always tell people, if you're starting to do content, make a podcast. And just make a podcast. You don't even have to worry about how far it gets, but just getting the skill of speaking how you feel and putting it into words without filler words and things, it can develop a sense of confidence, and it really helps.
Yeah,
I think.
I agree. It's the most fun that I have right now in anything I'm doing. Well, other than, leading my clients is still something that is amazing, but this is there's a freedom to it.
Yeah. And Nancy says there are many layers of what people like about a person. Exactly. And a lot of times people think you like them just because of this one part. That's what, especially when you're posting. It's like, well, people just like this one part, you know? Yeah.
But then some people, they completely stop liking someone because of one little part that they discovered later that they don't like.
I get over 100 unfollows a day.
Wow.
For the last 30 days.
Okay.
So people I just want to put that out there. And I'm still gaining. I still gain more than I lose. I'm not losing. But it just goes to show you that, yeah, if you change, people might not like the way you're doing things. And that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. Because people like things and don't like things, and that's like just the way that this reality works. You know what I'm saying? That in itself is a huge hump that anyone who really wants to share how they are has got to get over. Is that people are not going to like you. That's just what it is. And it doesn't have anything to do with you.
No.
You know?
No. It could be the shirt you wore. You might get unfollowed.
Man, come on, man. I was going to change the shirt.
That's not what I mean. Oh, that's so funny. I wish that was a shot, because that would have been really I like your shirt, dude.
Come on, man.
I like your shirt.
Is this too golfy? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I like golfy. Golfy's good. We still got to go hit some balls. We talked about this last time.
Yep. There's a theme with you. Yep.
Yeah.
You can, little inside joke for you. You guys don't know about that, but one time we were having a conversation, and he says, "I feel it in my balls."
So here's the background. I'm sending Nick a voice message, I think on Telegram, I can't remember, and we're just talking about, I can't remember what we're talking about, just getting together one day in the US. And I'm like, yeah, man. I'm feeling really good. I'm like, Nick, I know we're gonna get together soon, someday down there, and we'll be able to do a live podcast. Man, I just feel it in my balls. And I'm like, what? And I'm about to just
immediate regret, but he didn't unsend it.
Immediate regret, and I said, no, fuck this. You know what, man? I was about to just delete this whole message and restart, but I gotta leave this the way it is because it's just so fucking perfect. So, Nick, feel it in my balls, and I just sent it to him. And yeah, it was good.
I knew I wasn't gonna take that shit serious. You know.
I feel it in my balls.
That's funny stuff, man.
That's forever ours. You know that, right?
That's right.
Yeah. All right.
That's right. Good times, man.
So you've been traveling?
Yeah, been traveling all around. I'm gonna probably stay put here in Phoenix, and you know, I actually have had a whole hero's journey with traveling and nomadic living and this whole thing. And you want me to go into that? Because that's okay.
I do.
So I used to really, just to be completely honest, I used to permission slip myself when it comes to travel, and I couldn't make a certain style of content, and I would use that as a permission slip for frustration. And what I mean by that is I would be like, well, I want to make these travel videos where I go to other countries and podcast or not even podcast, go to like India and go and really get into Hinduism and explore the culture, but I didn't have the resources and I couldn't do it. And I used to let that frustrate me, thinking that that I should be able to do that for some reason, not allowing this moment to be actually like a legit moment. Like, this is nice. Like, I'm chilling. You know, it's actually quite nice when you're not on social media and you're just chilling and you're like, okay, it's relatively quiet. I'm not in danger. These things I used to take for granted, and so I used to really put off a lot of my happiness around. I used to either make the excuse I'm doing so much traveling that I can't make content, or I can't make content because I can't get to where I want to go yet. And so for me, I'm like in this space where I just want to sit down and do some skits and have some fun and write and record the audiobook for my book that everyone has asked me to record, and I haven't had time to do it. And it's like, I used to be like travel fanatic, but now I'm just like, there's balance. There's balance in the forest in this aspect.
Is this just a part of your life or chapter where you want more roots, or is that just not necessarily, just kind of a home base and touch and go?
Well, I don't really know. I think for me right now, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just like, I'm kind of living my life in this space of like, what does the next couple months look like? 2 to 4 months. And where do I want to go down the line? That's a whole different thing. But where can I dial in? What do I want out of my life? What that's a question that I think a lot of people actually forget to ask themselves.
Yeah.
It's like, what do I actually want out of life right now? And for me, it was, I want to enjoy life, and I want to be able to do the things like buy the groceries and just the normal human things. And then I realized the rest is kind of arbitrary. It's whatever all this other stuff is, but how can I do things that I enjoy doing and also feel fulfilled? And I think those two things are something that I'm really dialing in. And I think that's something that everyone should be thinking about at some point, is not just enjoy, but also fulfilled.
Yeah.
Because if you get too much joy, it's just pleasure, and you lose yourself, and you don't feel fulfilled. And whether that might be, the usual things. I'm sure everyone has got some things they're thinking about when they're like pleasure, but also fulfillment in the sense of, what am I doing that I actually feel like will make an impact? I think about this a lot, honestly. In 100 years, what's going to matter? When everyone I know is gone, everything is gone, what's actually going to matter? Because it's not going to matter who knew me, because at some point, nobody's going to know me. Nobody's going to know who I am or who I was even. And very few people will be remembered, but after enough time, it's going to keep going. So the impact that you make on others is really the only thing that's going to matter. And so what do I want that to look like? And I was talking to my friend Matt from the Yoga Couple, if you know them, and we were doing this kind of mastermind kind of inquiry for each other, and we were talking about how, well, this was actually a big breakthrough last week for me when I was thinking about how can I express myself and like just actually be who, like bring all these things in. It's like, how do I want people to feel when they watch my videos? Like, how do I act, like, for real, want them to feel? And for me, I realized that the answer really wasn't all about knowledge. It was like, I want them to feel a sense of kind of what's going on here in the inquiry sense of like, oh, that's interesting. But also like just a sense of, I can kind of relax a little bit because it's not as serious. That maybe even the way the world is, but also the way my life is. Because it's really hard to, for me at least, this is just me, it's really hard for me to step into emotions when I'm taking them real serious. And so if I can just figure out a way to just allow the experience that's at hand, sure. If I feel angry, it's anger's there. But I'm able to observe it from a place of, it's there, but it doesn't take me over, because for so long it did. Anger and frustration, as a manifesting generator too. That's the not self signature for human design people. And so that's been a theme in my life. And so I really had this event where I was like, what am I using in my life to allow myself to be frustrated? Because I genuinely, at that point, was at the this was last week. I'm telling you a lot about like what's been going on. You know, it's like I let so much. I was like, hey, I guess I can. I'm allowed to be this way because these things are happening. It's not about really allowing is the wrong word. It's like, I think the permission slip one isn't, I've been saying it a lot, but it's really true for me. It's like, these things are happening. So I'm frustration is justified. And it takes me back to Dr. David Hawkins and his work. And he used to say, there are no justified resentments. I was like, oh, fuck. That's not true. Then I went through it and I'm like, it is true. You know what I mean? It's like these things can be just, and it's like, actually, no, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. But, that's what I've been going through recently, is just realizing, hey, I don't have to be annoyed all the time about little things. It's not like I'm crazy. It's not like I'm insane in these things, but it's just like, there would be little situations where I realized I would get more. I would use sensitivity, and I think empathic type people actually they give themselves a permission slip to be more sensitive, and then that might cause them. That might cause it, because this is what I've kind of felt like. It's like you're not developing the ability to, at least me, and this might apply to others, and I'm sure it does apply to others out there. It's like I haven't developed the ability to really just allow life to be what it is.
Right. Be a part of the world without getting
trying to
sucked into
change it,
right?
or
Yeah,
saying
yeah, yeah.
should. Should is
Yeah,
the word
yeah,
that has
yeah.
been eating me alive
Oof.
for so long.
Damn.
You know, it should be this way.
Oh.
I shouldn't have to do this. The world shouldn't be this way. There shouldn't be. You can. Word "should" is one of the most vampiric words that will eat your soul.
Absolutely.
It really feels like at times. You know.
Well, and in the world we're in right now, there's a lot of should getting thrown around.
You know what? I was making a video earlier and I was thinking about it, and I think it applies here. It's like, what if the world is designed to be dumb? Think about this, though. What if it's actually designed to be dumb? Because the only way that humans, on a mass scale, I'm talking all humans, will really get it is if they see stupidity on a mass scale. Because if you see stupidity in the world and it's like it's at the forefront of the way that our world works, that'll help you to recognize, hey, maybe not everyone has my best interest at heart. Because that's the fallacy of humans at the beginning, is that we innocently think that everyone has our best interest in the world too. And everyone is, that's what I've really been contemplating. It's like, maybe the world is, it seems to be negative, but maybe the world is designed for you to take the journey of like seeing it as, first you see it as, oh, this sucks. And you're like, you go through the dark nights, like, oh, I suck. Do I suck? What? What's going on with me? And then you come back around, you're looking at the world and you get through that and you're looking at this other side. I'm going through the hero's journey right now, Joseph Campbell. And then you get to the other side and you get the reward. And it's like, what is the reward? The reward is a perspective. It's a perspective of, well, maybe life actually might be a game. Maybe it might be a cosmic play, maybe a joke, a movie. There's many things that, an illusion, you hear that a lot.
Sure.
But it might be something that is not what it seems to be, but it actually might not be that bad because it facilitates transformation. I don't know. That's something I've been, that could be completely wrong. That's something I've been thinking about, though.
I just gotta have more fun, man. Like in my everyday stuff, and with my kids too. Like, I met a really cool guy a few weeks ago, and he was telling me about how he just really tries to be the kid with his kids. And with kids, it's so easy to get caught up in gotta go to the rush in the morning. I got my kids are 7 and 5. They'll be 8 and 6 right away. But the mornings are chaotic. No one's listening. It's fighting. It's pulling hair. It's wrestling. It's screaming. It's all the things, and it's easy to get so wrapped up in the morning grind and that loop and get frustrated and angry. And even after school when they come home, trying to get them to eat their food and but A, things fly by so fucking quickly. But B, it's like, why do I pick so many little fights? Why do I bother saying no to certain things that don't fucking matter? And that's more than just in parenting. It's in life in general. Why do I pick little battles? Why do I fight myself here?
That's what I was saying.
Right? Like,
that's what I'm saying, dude. Yeah.
It's just like, what the fuck? And today, so my kids, their favorite thing with me is just, we play WWE, man. Like, they don't even know what WWE is, but I'm rock bottoming on the mattress. Like, I do all the moves because it just brings me back to when me and my brothers used to do it on the trampoline. Trampoline outside, we used to jump off the house, elbowing each other on the trampoline. Like, we were ridiculous. So I do it with my kids. So I have my daughter down, I'm pinning her and I'm pretending to punch her. My son stands over me and farts in my face. He just fucking rips one in my face, and I instantly smell it. And I'm like, oh, and I'm angry and I'm pissed. And my daughter's laughing, everybody's laughing, and I fucking start laughing. I'm like, you bastard, you farted in, like, not just in, like, right here. I felt it, dude.
All the way down in your soul.
Oh my God. It'll never be the same. But it was one of those little moments. Like, it's ridiculous. I could have easily got mad and canceled the wrestling. But no, I'm just like, fuck it, man. Like, these are the moments that they're ridiculously dumb, but I love them anyway. Whatever. Fart in my face, dude.
To everybody put skulls in the chat right now, because that's what I would be putting. A bunch of skulls, maybe some wind emojis. I mean, like,
right there. How's that?
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, but you know what?
What a legend.
Yeah, it's so good, and that's my son, man. Like, I gotta give him credit. It's a good move. It was probably the best finishing move I've ever seen. It beat the Stone Cold Stunner. It beat the Rock Bottom. It was
even beat the RKO, dude.
Yeah, even what's the what was the sharpshooter? Bret the Hitman Hart's sharpshooter. I love
dude.
That
My
one.
favorite was Rey Mysterio, 619 baby, right off the ropes. Boom.
So I like remember the Razor's Edge.
No, dude.
Razor Ramon. You don't remember Razor Ramon?
No, man.
Chico, what? No, someone help me in the chat. People don't remember Razor Ramon. Oh my god.
What year are we talking about? Are you talking about WWE in like Vietnam
WWF.
or something like that? Like,
no, this is WWF. But you're not. How old are you? You're not that much younger than me. How old?
What year are you talking about?
Oh yeah, you are quite a bit younger than me. Actually, you're in your 20s. Damn it. You just yeah. Never mind. You don't know Razor Ramon,
bro. I'm like 47 years old, dude. Don't talk shit.
What
do you mean? I just talk higher, so people will think I'm older.
After our show, you gotta go just YouTube the Razor's Edge, Razor Ramon.
You're gonna make me do it live.
Yeah, you gotta do it now.
Razor Ramon.
Oh my god, I think his name is Scott Hall.
Oh, I know this guy. Yeah,
you know Scott Hall.
He's got the little thingy right here.
Yeah, and he's have a toothpick and he's throw it at people's. I think it's Scott Hall. I think he just passed away.
That would be your favorite guy.
He was just so cool. He was just I don't know that. Era,
I mean, Ric Flair though.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Ric Flair's good too. He just died.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
rest in peace to him though. Yeah.
Rest in peace to the Razor's Edge and Razor Ramon. So like, what era was your even when you said Rey Mysterio, that was past the days that I was really into it. So.
I mean, I was a kid. I was probably, I don't know. I don't remember the years, man. When people ask me questions like that, I'm just like, I don't know. Because I don't know, because I'm just kind of like this dude who doesn't really remember his childhood very much. I don't know if I'm just like this, but there's like, maybe I have a passive brain, completely quad right in human design as well. I'm just not able to really even, like, that's why, this is actually a good topic to talk about. When you're talking about inner child stuff.
Yeah.
I don't remember shit about my childhood. And that's why I'm not that type of guy who will do inner child stuff for the most part, because it's just not something that comes easy to me. You know, I'm actually, for me, it's more like I understand it could be something in my past, and it is something in my past, but I'm not even worried about where it's from.
Yeah.
I'm just like, how do I feel now? And this is not true. Yeah. And I simply put, I'm just like, okay, this isn't true. It's from somewhere in the past. I'm not even going to focus on it. I'm going to focus on, okay, what it is that I actually want to be. How do I want to interact with the world and that kind of thing. And I feel like a lot of times people get lost in the healing sense of where it came from, or these aspects of I'm continually healing for 5 ever. And I've been there at times in my life, but.
Sure. I think we've all been there. And I was talking to a friend about that, how important, because, a lot of times when we do the work, when I help people do the work and regression work, so we do a lot of that going back. Yeah. But what I'm seeing now, and I think it's the shift, I think it's the consciousness shift. I think that we're able to do the healing in different ways that we weren't even able to do 10 years ago. There's just an evolution that way, where I have clients now that don't have to go to the root cause of the issue. They don't have to go to the moment it happened. They can do it right there and then by change. It happens differently with everyone, but I see it now. I see a lot of that. But what I try to tell my clients is it's about fucking living it's about being the human and going out in the world and being aware. It doesn't all happen by going back. You have to live after the new awareness or new realization it's putting it together in the real world. I don't know if that came off, but it made sense.
I know what you're saying. For me, it's like, I think it's less important to know where it came from, but it's more important to mitigate it as much as possible in the present moment. Because the more that we can mitigate the way that we triggered, it's not like we're getting rid of all triggers ever. Maybe we can get there, maybe we can. But for me, it's like, how can I just even? I'm not even trying to get everything out of the way because I feel like that's unrealistic.
Yeah.
For me, it's what
You're
is
not.
it right now that I'm getting triggered by, and just mitigating and not allowing it, and just by literally, it's kind of neuroscience, and you can get into what the neuroscience is of the chemicals, or you can just simply say, I'm just when that thought comes up, I'm just understanding that it's not worth it. That's been a thing for me recently. It's not worth it.
That requires a lot of awareness, though, and because I don't want people to just think it's like, I shouldn't say it's not that easy. It is that easy. I want to say it is that easy. But for some who struggle with staying present and not being in the wounding and in their emotion when it's ramping up, when the story already starts to tell them, to tell the story, maybe what would you what do you do there? Like you got to have moments where it kind of takes over. Are you still able to just kind of hit the brakes?
That's what I'm doing. And I will constantly take the biggest breath of my life every day. It feels like
good.
It really is something about the breath. And I've had plenty of people I've talked to that are say this is the absolute thing. And they're like, they swear by breath work is the most important. I'm like, yes, it is important. And I think it can be so simple as literally, if you're frustrated, it is immensely helpful to just take the deepest breath that you can. And if you need to do multiple ones, that's really what it is. It's kind of like a hack for me.
Sure.
And I think it's if there's anything that's underrated, it's that. Now, if I have a story that's going and I'm frustrated, I have a couple lines of questioning that I'll ask myself. For example, if I'm real frustrated, this might sound weird to some people, but I go into the bathroom, I look at myself in the mirror, and I say, "What's wrong?" I dead ass will say, what is actually wrong? And then when I think about what's actually wrong, I realize how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
And it's finding a way for me to expose to the mind why it's so ridiculous that it's getting upset. And then the more you're able to shift it from like, okay, I'm already upset, to like, okay, I'm 95% upset. That kind of like slowly working your way back, and I'm not there all the time for sure. But just kind of working my way back into the point where most of the time, I would say 75% of the time, I think that's fair.
Good.
I'm just letting it roll off more.
I love that. That reminds me of how important laughing at yourself is. Because when you honestly, dude, when you can fucking laugh at your ridiculous thought loop that you were in for the last 20 minutes and you see how ridiculous it is, there's nothing that takes away power than laughter.
That's why I'm starting to do skits.
Yeah,
that's why I'm doing skits,
dude.
bro.
I love that, man.
Because it's like
full circle.
It's right. It does, because I was getting lost in the state of the world today, as I'm sure many people on this particular day is doing, the day after certain things happen in the world. You know what I'm talking about here in the United States of America.
Yes.
I got lost in it, and then I just saw a video, and something hit me at how ridiculous it was. It's just like, I am seeing. That's why I went to the thing. I almost made that video about how dumb it is. You gotta laugh at the ridiculousness. And I'm like remembering how no one knows anything about really
anything.
For the most part, people think that they know.
Sure.
And plenty of people will tell you that they know.
Yeah.
But usually the people that tell you that they know are the people that know the least.
Fuck.
That's what I find. And so I'm just in this space where I'm looking at the world and like, okay, it might be dumb by design. That's how I came to that thought process. It's like, it logically doesn't make sense how the world is, and even how my mind is. Right. Why would I do this? Like, why would I be upset about? I left something at an Airbnb, and it's like, why would I be upset about that? There's not, because I understand. You see, I used to justify. Well, I left it. I should be upset. I left.
Yeah. You justify it exactly.
But then you're like, a higher perspective that I'm really bringing in is like, well, there's nothing I can do. If I get upset, it does nothing.
It changes nothing.
Literally nothing.
Other than the rest of it just changes the next 2 hours for you in a shitty way.
Right. And so I think there's just a point where you realize that all the things that you've been letting get to you, you're just like, okay, what do I have control of and what do I not? Am I, with the things in my life that I have control of, am I doing what I feel like is the necessary steps? If I am, that's it. That's all you can do. And there's got to be some level for me of I'm okay to the point where I can find fulfillment in doing. Oh, that's so hard to do. That right there, if I were to really ask you how much, like, let's talk about you specifically.
Sure.
How much do you find fulfillment in making content? Like just the making of it, just the making.
Now?
Sure. And if it's nothing, then it's for nothing.
No, it's not for nothing, but it's not what it used to be. Like there will be those moments of inspiration, and those are always, I find my best videos is when I don't have to be like, oh, I got to make content today. Because that's been tough for me. It's been tough to stay consistent and just creating the content. Yeah, I could Google stuff to put my voice to. You know, but
like a lot of people do on
sure. And I just struggle with it, man. Like,
yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I don't have the answers on why, but I just can't make content to make content. I want to make content because I feel fucking fire in me or anger in me or sadness in me.
But that's the thing you're missing. You gotta make content to feel the humor, to feel the iron, and I think the enjoyment. Well, see, here's what I think about you, to be completely honest. The way that you make content very motivationally, and that's the only side of you that I see a lot of the times.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's a shit ton more
of
Senior Joey that I want to see.
Much, man. Yeah,
and it's like,
I know.
I think you think that people will only like you if you're motivating them in some way.
Right.
And it's like, what if people liked you because you were just everything about you, not just one?
Yeah.
And we talked about that. But I think that you're moving into that switch. You're hitting that wall. And you said, it might be some astrology things. It might be some freaking transits in human design. It might be it might be the solar cycles, as I've talked about many times before. There's plenty of things that it could be.
Well,
but what matters is how you feel and where you're going, and that right there.
I feel it in my balls, dude. I do. I feel it in my balls, and like it's something like as stupid as that right there. Man, I was the class clown my whole life. I love nothing more than making people laugh.
Well, then what are you doing?
And most people don't even fucking know that side
right.
of me.
I don't know that. I don't even know that. And I know you pretty well, I think.
That's being just super vulnerable and being like, fuck, why am I not showing these parts of me that are, so beautiful in their own right, in their own way. And, and that's where a lot of my creativity comes is being just goofy and funny. And so I can see this right now. It's all shifting. And I told you, it's like an identity crisis. It's like I almost had a full Britney moment the other day, man. Like 2 days ago, I had the clippers. I was like, should I just shave my head to like, just go brush cut? Just maybe I need to do that right now. Shave my beard, maybe grow a mustache, shave my head. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm at a moment right now in my life where I'm like, more of me needs to be expressed,
So what I think you should do, I know you're not asking for my advice, but your boy's going to give you some advice here. You should just make some videos where you just talk. For as long as you want. Don't worry, Instagram Reels will extend longer than 1:30 as much as people are like, keep it short. Not true. I've had plenty of videos do well that are longer. So don't worry about the time limit. Just freaking get on there and tell people how you feel and talk to one person. Or talk to one person is a really good piece of advice.
I like that,
but you can't cut off your curls, dude.
You just saw that too, huh?
Please.
Like, see? No.
I've never thought about cutting off my long hair.
Yeah, but it was just like, maybe I just gotta shave my head.
If you're gonna do it, I'll drive 30 million miles and I'll come there and I'll do it for you, man. I want to be a part of it. You gotta at least record it if you're going to.
So I'm gonna have to let it grow a little bit longer than it is right now, because we gotta make this a little more dramatic. Yeah, exactly.
Now that's a content creator right there.
Yeah, a little dramatic. But what's funny is, so you're talking about astrology and Brenda's talking about North Node first house transits do that. No clue what the fuck she means, but I always ask her for advice. I'm like, what's coming? What's happening? So what's going on in the stars right now? Should I be worried? What's the chart saying? Like, I have no clue, but I always always, because this last eclipse, dude, this whole 2 weeks that's been going on has been the most powerful like few days of my life. Like just the roller coasters, the shadows, the darkness, the joy, the everything happening, and everything being shown to me that I'm not fully embracing, because there's two hells. I think we've been in the darkness. We've talked about this before, how you can be in that dark night of the soul, and it's so dark you can't see the light. You don't even think the light exists at that point. But then you do some work and you start to be more aware, and you start to come out of it, and then you get where I believe, is like, oh wow, spirituality and healing and law of attraction and meditation and all these tools, which were amazing tools, brought me to a space of alignment, or more in love with myself than I ever have been, 100%. But just going to enlightenment or whatever the fuck it is, and you get addicted and you forget parts of you. We get addicted, I think, to this spirituality thing when we start to swing out of it, and we lose balance just going the other way.
Yeah. And you're talking about moving towards enlightenment, and you're actually doing the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's impossible to be there.
Yeah.
Not like I'm just, I know exactly what it is. And
sorry, Nick.
I don't.
No bad vibes here, bud. Sorry.
Okay.
See, that's what
smile on for you.
Right. That's what I mean.
Anyways. Just like, dude, I have a skit I was working on for that. Actually, my skit tomorrow, if I get it out, is going to be about that. People want me to do the top part of the chart, Dr. Hawkins' chart. It's love, joy, peace, enlightenment, and part 3. People are like, do part 3. And I'm actually going to do it jumping back and forth between the top and the bottom, because people think they're at the top, but they're really at the bottom of the chart.
Can we talk about irony for a second? Did we not talk about irony? Yeah, 1 second.
Mm-hmm. All right, he's got to go feel it in his balls, folks. All right, he was farting or some shit.
Bit. I'm making fun of stuff. And
what's going on, bro? Oh, okay. That's not what I thought you were doing.
I wasn't going to show you my balls, Nick.
I thought you were feeling your balls or something.
No, but like, I've had this in my office for I don't know how long, a few years now. And it's like, fuck, that's bullshit.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, buddy.
You're not getting my balls, Nick.
Please, can you break that on screen right now for us? Can you just like... Is it breakable? What is it made of?
It's breakable. It's just plastic. It used to light up.
Well, you should. I think you've moved on. Maybe it's time for some redecorating or something like that. I mean, tell me how you really feel about the good vibes only.
Man, I used to hear about it when I was, probably like a year and a half ago. People would be like, "Oh, it's toxic positivity," and I was like, "That's bullshit." I'm like, "Fuck, I thought it was bullshit because I've seen the other side of it. I've seen being negative, and that's what I thought when someone would say it. I'm like, oh, you just don't understand it. But I'm like, no, fuck, I didn't understand it. You can't lie to yourself when you're going through a hard time and say, if it sucks, it's okay that it sucks. It's okay that it sucks and it fucking hurts. You don't want to get stuck there. You don't want to stay there, and you don't want to stay in the loop. But the good vibes only thing, I don't know, man. I don't want to call it new age spirituality. I don't want to call it any of that. Those are all fucking labels. But I think a lot of us get stuck on one side of the equation. And
you know what it is? It's people think that good is better than bad.
Right.
Very, very simply. And if good is better than bad, it's like, well, there might actually be... This is the thing where people in the spiritual community tell you, hey, bro, there's no good and bad, and it's like, okay, like, well, what is your perspective on why are you saying that?
Exactly.
Like, because, like, I think you can try and move into that non-duality because we have that information, and throughout history, this was like information that was saved for people who are initiated into like this is the non-dual nature of reality. Okay, there only is, that. And then people try to bypass because they're like, oh, I'm seeing all the high-level people say this is the truth. So therefore, I must say it without taking the journey to realizing it myself. There's a difference between knowledge and integrated wisdom. It's like you don't get the wisdom until you go and actually do the things and you actually realize it yourself. Like if you just repeat it online because it sounds nice,
right?
That's different. That's something that I think is way too prevalent with people because they just don't know better.
Right. They don't.
If they knew better, they probably would do better. And I don't think it's better or worse. Just like they just haven't went on that journey to see like, oh, okay, maybe I'm just being positive because I think it's the right thing to do instead of going into the things and realizing that there's a gift within it. And I think that's what Richard Rudd with the Gene Keys, all the people that know the Gene Keys, he used to say that there's actually, if you study the Gene Keys, that's a whole different topic, but to keep it very simply, each key has a shadow, gift, and a city. It's like, but it's the same key. But it's the same key. That's the thing. It's like in you can live from the shadow, the gift, or the city, and you can change and try and say you're only in this, but really what it is, it's realizing that there's a gift in the shadow. That right there is something that's very important. Yeah. It's like you not going there is the thing that's keeping you unhappy. If you just go there, you realize it's not that bad. It's like you reject that part of you, just like you were rejecting that part of you that you thought. Why do you not be funny now on your content?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and for anybody who wants to know a little bit more about Gene Keys, Sarah, a friend of mine, is my next guest next week. She's an expert on Gene Keys. Like that's her jam. So I don't know enough about it. I know it's really, really interesting because I've been seeing it everywhere now, and it's really, really pulling me. So Sarah, next week, next Wednesday, right here, she's the girl to talk to. So we'll dive into that. Yeah, it is really, really strange. It's like so many of my videos I talked about our personalities or the masks or the roles that we've played, and then we get into the dark night and we think we found ourselves, and then we just neglect so many other beautiful parts of us. And it's just so beautiful and so freeing to feel that fire, to just be all of them again without judgment. All at once. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's even parts of the old me that I would label bad, right? Like this version of me who used to go out with the guys doing this, or at the football hockey game, I don't want to identify with that anymore because it was this, or it would lead to that kind of behavior, or whatever. And it's like, not all those parts were detrimental, not all those parts of me, but I would kind of just like cast them away.
People do that with veganism too, and they do that with alcohol. They do that with
alcohol's another great
smoking
example
things,
for me, and it's something I was kind of demonizing and putting this thing. And what happened is I made it stronger. Going no, alcohol was making it worse than allowing myself to have maybe a little bit and showing more awareness around it, respecting it.
Who taught me that? Mr. Dr. Joe Dispenza. I remember reading his book like 4 or 5 years ago, and I remember it saying...
Which book? Do you remember?
I think it was You're the Placebo.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe. I definitely don't know which book it was, but I think either that or it was one of 3 books, because I've read 3 of his books. I've read Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself and Becoming Supernatural, and then the original. Well, it's not really original, but then the one I just talked about. So it was in one of those books, and I remember reading, and I have a glass of wine.
Yeah. Well, he would
Do you
say
remember that?
A glass of wine before meditating or something. He'd say he'd like to have a glass of red before meditating because it would just.
You know how many spiritual people, if you said that, they'd be like, man. "Are you freaking kidding me?"
Yeah,
and they just talk massive shit.
Right, and like, because I remember you've seen the meme or it says spirits, and then it just shows all the entities coming into your drink and coming into your soul. And I'm not saying there isn't some truth to lower drinking and getting into a lower vibrational state by drinking. I've seen that, but then you're labeling it this one thing, and it's not just one thing. It's not just this evil poison. It's so many other things too. So I don't know. I put so many labels to it, and I attached it to so much of my pain and suffering.
Well, you get the spiritual persona, and you say you are the spiritual person, but then you realize after enough time, maybe like I did, that that's really not who you are. And
No.
you thought you were like that. At least this is me. I wanted to be like that because I felt a sense of, um, I've made it. I've made it
Mm.
out.
Yep. Same.
I'm not
Same.
like the people
Yes.
who are just
Yes. In the
doing the
Matrix.
normal stuff, and
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
it can become a trap in itself.
Yeah, dude.
And so then I even had to go back and do some of those things to let go of those attachments and to see what it was really like. And I think that's a healthy thing to do.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
make fun of these things because I make fun of myself. Like I'm able to laugh at this part of me now. Like, wow, oh, I made it out of this darkness, or I made it out of this role that I was playing for society, and it wasn't really me, to come into this spiritual leader or meditation guide. Now I'm much more me. And then meanwhile, I just, yeah, there's pieces of me there, absolutely, that lights me up, but it's not me. It's not me. It's part
What
of
is
me.
you?
Yeah, I don't know, man. What is me? You tell me, Nick. I don't know. This is not these last 2 weeks, man. I have no. Like I said, almost had a Britney moment, so I might have a mohawk by
All right,
Tuesday.
well, then let's ask you this question. And for anyone listening, ask yourself the same question. If you were to express yourself fully, and let's put that in a category for you, specifically. Yeah. However, there's many ways to express yourself, but for you, you like to express yourself online.
Yeah.
Now, if people were to watch your videos, how would you want them to feel after they completed a video from you?
Part of me wants them to feel empowered.
We've seen that part of you,
yeah,
yes,
and seen, and that part of me is very alive. Like there's no, it doesn't. That's not a part of me, right? And I'm not evolving past wanting that. I love inspiring people. It just makes me feel good. Even when I see videos of other creators inspiring people, it still lights me up. But
yeah,
I think it's to be a lot more lighthearted and to take things a lot less serious. Because if you knew me in life, when I'm not racking my brain about what I have to do for business or what I have to do for the responsibilities, because I've been struggling this last 6 months of the pressure I've put on myself. But but when I'm in a flow and I'm just goofy. Like I'm just funny. Well, that's debatable, but I like to think I am.
Same.
But I love to grab a guitar and play some songs and sing, and I like to dance ridiculously in the kitchen, and all that stuff. And it's things that I haven't truly embraced yet to bring it and feel safe enough to bring it to the world. And I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I think I made a video on Instagram where I played a small part of a song and I was singing.
Dude, that was so good.
Thanks, man. Thank you, man. And that took a lot. I remember shaking about what I was about to press post, because in my mind I'm like, what are all these old people that know me gonna think? Oh, they're gonna think he's just doing that to get attention, or he's gonna think that he thinks this and that. And I remember having this battle in my head, and I'm like, and I just hear, fuck it. Like, who cares? Like, you love to do it. Just fucking post it. And I posted it, and it felt magical and scary. Like.
Can we get some hearts in the chat for Joey, please?
Thanks, guys.
So let's reverse engineer that then.
Yeah.
So now that you know how you want people to feel, it's like, well, how do you, actually, let's even go further back. When you think about the question of what you are, do you think that person that you're being is you?
No, it's not me. It's just parts of me. It's just parts of me that like to be expressed. And there's lots of parts of me that I haven't expressed yet. I don't think I've even discovered yet.
And then the question is when does happiness come? When you're expressing those other parts as well?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's the lesson, man.
Absolutely.
That's the lesson for anyone who is in that space of, I feel like a lot of us feel like this. Maybe if you're a projector, you might feel like this. It's not so much in the body density. But the more that we are able to, as I said at the beginning, man, just say it. Even just turn on your camera and record and say it.
Yeah.
There's
a big shift happening, and it's really exciting. Like I can feel it in my in my balls, you know.
Your balls, man.
But
I can feel it
I was gonna say
everywhere
balls.
and
I'm just like, I can't not say balls anymore.
He's just got to roll with it.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm at a really big turning point in so many parts of my life, and I just feel like it's going to be more, just really more me, different layers, added layers to the old me. But I'm excited to show them and express them and bring them to the world, I think. Yeah.
Very good, man. Can't wait to see it.
You got me there, dude.
Very good. I'm happy to see what happens here with your content, and I really love the inspiring Joey, but I'm sure I'm gonna love just as much the other aspects of Joey, and you've just got to understand that the people that are really the people that you want to be around will.
Yeah. And that's right.
And the people that don't, that's fine. And there's going to be those people. That's the
thing. I have to be okay with you maybe not liking that part of me too, because that doesn't fucking matter.
Correct.
Right. And that's the part. It's like, I want people to love those other parts of me.
We all do.
And
you want to know why? Because it's tribal. Because it's tribal for us to, if people don't like us, we might get kicked out of the tribe. We're probably going to go get off in the woods. We can't survive by ourselves.
That's just
it's a thing that runs within humans, and we want to feel accepted and loved. And I think we can trick ourselves because of this mental game of the internet and also social media into thinking that one thing or one part of us is better or more likable. And you see the people that have massive success are the people that will oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes will just let loose.
Yeah.
And it's funner too. It's entertaining.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, I've come to the conclusion that people don't always want to hear the truth. A lot of times people want to feel inspired. Sometimes they want to feel open. They want to feel like something is helping them to learn something, depending on the type of person. They want to be entertained. And so there's many aspects of that. And I think it comes down to one basic thing, and it's story. I think story is a huge part of it as well. And that's why I really like being funny, man, and just having fun, because you can make a story behind a skit. I can't make that was my biggest problem, man, is I couldn't make a story behind why the universe is holographic. It's really hard. In a minute.
Yeah. yeah, exactly.
You know, it's hard, and it's extremely hard. And then all the people with like who have never made a video are like, bro, this sucks. And I'm just like, bro, you try and do it. It's tough.
What do you fucking
know? If I was on YouTube, and I am on YouTube, but if I was making videos that were like 10, 20 minutes, it's different. You can make a story on that. But especially on short form content where a lot of people are at, it's hard to get stories in there and make it something that is memorable. It's like, I'm sure you've watched my videos. There might be some things that you remember, but like, let's be real here. When I did the last podcast about the Law of One, what do you actually remember from it?
God, there's so much fucking information, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's probably not much.
Yeah.
And that's what I've realized. And I think that's the growth, that's the value that that's the thing for me. I can blow your mind with information, but you know what? It's good for most people. It just goes.
Sure.
And you don't even remember it, and it's nothing wrong with you.
Right.
But it's like, it's just too much.
Yeah.
But if I do a skit where I said some stupid things and you might have learned about reincarnation studies, you know, I had a video that went viral like 8 days ago. I don't know how long ago, maybe a week ago, about reincarnation. It did well on both platforms, but I think it did well because you kind of were entertained and you could remember the story of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
As well as remember maybe, there was research on reincarnation. That's interesting. Sure. So it's like that opens you up. Because I think what a big thing, if anyone wants to make content, to realize is there's no lack of information.
No.
We have all the information.
Gosh, no kidding.
It's all like, I can tell you to get it together. You just do these things, your life will be better, bro. Yeah. You manifest this and you get in there, and it's like, yeah, you already know that though. Most of us already know how, like, we know what it is to do. And so where do I want to fit into that? And I think sometimes, like you, man, you can come on here and give people that. And I think is like there's definitely people that would benefit from that at this moment.
Sure.
But there's also people that are going to benefit from these other aspects.
Yeah,
too.
I know. Absolutely.
And then you get to be you.
Yeah.
Whatever I guess that might mean, or these other parts of you that you feel like you're frustrated because you're not able to be fully.
You know what? I think it really just comes down to me being comfortable talking about my balls more often.
Okay, well then I think we nailed this one. Which ones, man? We're talking about these ones?
Faced. Yeah, man, my eyeballs.
Jeez.
Well, man, I can't thank you enough for coming on again. And can we do this? When we meet up, because we're gonna do this.
Sure.
We're gonna make a skit.
You want to make a feel it? That's the only thing people are going to remember from this episode now. You know that, right?
Balls? Oh, yeah. Well, we already had some Marjorie. I'm like, yeah, this is the balls episode.
Awesome, man. I'm glad I could be here for it.
So we went from law of one to just sweaty balls, as Nancy's putting it.
You know what? Sometimes that's what people need to hear. And I'm just a messenger of the universe. I'm channeling God right now.
Yeah, God works through the people, man.
That's how I feel about channeling sometimes.
See, and this is what I mean. This is really makes my heart happy, dude. And thanks for coming on. Thanks for doing this. But I got those final 2 questions. And
sure, brother.
So number 1, it used to be, I want you to be a little bit more vulnerable. It's the vulnerable question, but I changed it up a little bit because I want to just hear what's a saying, what's some wisdom, what's something maybe you just learned recently that you could share with someone, share with us.
I learned recently.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe just something that you got a new perspective about. Just something, some knowledge, some good Nick Zei knowledge.
He wants me for my knowledge, folks. He wants me for my knowledge. Okay, so what are some things that I've learned recently? I'd say, I think it's good to stick on theme for this one to really wrap it around. We live in a world where everybody is trying to tell you what to do and how to do it and thinking it's the best way to do it. That's just what it is. That's the world. And just understanding that the way that my mind thinks I should do things isn't even necessarily the truth.
Right.
I think there's something to really having a bullshit meter, not only with the world, but with the bullshit meter itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see that even the things that you might think are bullshit, actually, maybe not.
I know, right?
Question mark.
Right? Fuck.
And that goes for every area of your life. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm talking, think about the people that tell you that this is bad, this is good. Just really understand that, yes, from one person's perspective, that's their truth. But that even if a large majority of people believe something, that doesn't mean that it's true. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to be someone who goes about something completely differently. For example, for me, I go about comedy now very differently than comedians usually do it.
Right.
And it's like that's where your genius in an area can come through, is understanding that you don't, I'm not saying I'm a genius in any right, but saying for the things that you want to do that you think that are not acceptable for some reason, that might be the thing that you're going to be really good at, or that you have a sense of, might give you that fulfillment and enjoyment. There might be the perfect combination of that in those areas that you might be denying. Whether that's, for me, we've been talking about humor, but it could even be, you want to go for business. You want to be someone who knows a lot of material. Maybe you want to be an Andrew Huberman, where he knows a lot of neuroscience, and you might want to go down the knowledge. But what I'm saying is that spiritual people will put restrictions on what is good and bad. Mm-hmm. And not even just spiritual, but that is in itself a category.
Sure.
But then there's another category of The world will do that as well. But just seeing that nothing is decided for you unless you let it be. And the world seems to decide for you if you don't. So if you don't make a decision, then the world will decide for you.
Right.
And that comes for every area of your life. Everything that happens in your life. You have a level of control of only your reactions. You can really boil down everything that you do to a reaction. You know, so
if you don't make a decision, the world will make it for you. Ain't that the truth? Oh, we don't have any bots in here, do we? My first bot. Wow.
Oh my God, dude. And it's about a dating site. You say balls too many times in one episode, and then you got a bot coming in talking about that kind of thing.
Oh my God. Maybe we did this. That's that law of attraction, dude, going on.
Could be. But to finish on that thought, all you can do is look at your life and take action. And taking action can be relaxing. Taking action can be taking a break.
Yeah.
Sometimes take a damn break from your phone. For real. Because you'll never know who you are if you're constantly being inundated with who everyone else is.
Thank you, brother. And that's why I'm doing. I got my own little detox coming the next 4 or 5 days or so.
I think it's needed. I absolutely think it's needed. And I think that there's a level where we all realize that we're getting too much. I can't even hear myself. Like people try. I used to respond to comments, and if people have commented on my videos and I don't respond, it's because I've almost gotten to the point where I can't even look at the comments because I know myself. And there's people that will try and sabotage you in there, because they want to. And so I'm just like, sometimes I just got to set it and forget it. And I think that detoxing is needed, and it's nothing to do. It doesn't mean you don't appreciate people. It's just like, wow, we got to know who we are. And if people are trying to tell us who we are, like people will tell you who you are, like they know you in the sense of like that one person who's watched one of your videos from 1 minute long.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of people who do know me on here, but I'm saying the world loves to judge. And so you've got to get clear on who you are. And then when you're putting yourself out there,
just let it go.
It is what it is when anyone thinks 100%. About it. You know,
100%.
That's liberation.
Yeah, brother. I love it. So my last question is always the what's lighting you up, what's making you feel alive right now. So what does being alive for Nick mean at this moment? And I know there's probably gonna be some of that humor and skip, but anything else making you feel alive?
The opportunities that I have. I think I've taken for granted even the things that are in my life that seem trivial, but are actually big advantages. The ability that I've gotten to the point where I've had enough people support me online where I don't have to go and do things that I don't want to do. Like I waited tables for 5-10 years. I wasn't 10, but a lot of years, 5+ years. I waited tables. I've been a dishwasher. I freaking started working at McDonald's when I was young. You know, like when my first job was at McDonald's when I was 16.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes I can forget how much that I have because I don't think about how good it is because I'm thinking about what I don't have.
Sure.
And so it's like lighting me up to just go to the store and realize, dude, I thought this earlier. This might seem so simple to some people, but the fact that I don't have to hunt for my food and I can just walk in a store, freaking swipe that thing, and then that's it. And then I get to buy all this stuff.
Right.
And it's like money is kind of fake in a sense. It's like, bro, these numbers just get put in there and then it can do the things. And it's like, wow. And that was not easy, by the way. I'm not saying it was easy to get here.
I get that.
And you know, it's been a struggle for so long, but it's like I'm no longer allowing myself to future trip. If you can remember that word, future tripping is a thing that has gotten me for so long, dude. So I'm just like, damn, what's lighting me up is I can literally just film skits and work on stuff, and the fact that I get to do that is just incredible. And I know not that many, there's a lot of people who aren't doing what they're doing because I did that for 95% of my life, you know? So
I can feel
the struggle, but you can get out of the struggle.
Yeah.
It just takes you looking at a direction, deciding and doing it.
Yes.
And you know, like I said earlier, I can tell people that all day, and a lot of people know that that's what it is. But actually making that decision.
Yeah, you got to decide. You got to decide.
And it was just, I'm just going to show up online in whatever way. And here we are, man. And I just wasn't afraid anymore of doing it. And I was for a while. I don't know about you, but it took me like years before I actually got on and was saying how I felt about these things.
Yeah. Well, I think
the only thing that yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's good. Finish up.
I was just going to say the only thing that I look back on and I'm like, man, the one thing that stopped me the most in my life is my own inner, my own inner environment and what I listen to from my own mind. So that's why the bullshit meter, looking at the things that I am believing about myself. That's it. That's the sauce. And it's so simple. You know? Saucy sauce.
It's a saucy sauce. See, I don't even know what I was going to.
Absolute legend, man. The Joey impressions on point.
Oh, wait for our skit. We're gonna rock that thing. It's gonna be ridiculous.
Right, you want to do a skit? All right, you want to be the first one. You're gonna come to the Zeiverse, man. The Zeiverse is a whole different universe. I mean, if you're gonna come in here, we can do that.
Point, I don't know what my haircut's gonna be tomorrow, so I'll go to the Zeiverse. I don't care. We're reinventing some things. Let's go.
All right, dude. I'm down. I'm down, man, but you got to give an impression. If you're going to do a video, I need to get an impression in there of some kind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're going to go for it. We're not going to fuck around. There's going to be impression.
What do you mean, man? It is all fucking around. All I do is fuck around.
What are we going to do?
Fuck around, and then it seems to do well. That's
around and we'll find out.
The more you fuck around,
the more you find out.
There it is.
I love it, dude. Thank you, brother. Thanks, everybody, for being here again. I really appreciate all your support. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you hadn't yet. Next week, I got Sarah. We're going deep into the gene keys. It's going to be amazing. Nick, love you, dude.
Thanks, man. Love you, bro.
Bye-bye.
Peace, y'all.